Hello YouTube. What you're looking at is my dad's old laptop. It's a Dell XPS laptop from 2005. My mom got this, pointed him to this because it was a powerhouse. I guess she figured he could use it for a long time. This laptop, while it's been very reliable and lasted a long time and everything, there are things about it that just make it a terrible portable computer. Not that it's a bad computer, it's just that the design, it makes no sense for it being portable in his situation. I think the biggest thing being, this is one of the chunkiest modern laptops I've ever seen. Like, it's almost as good as some of the, I forget if it's Toshiba or Compaq, but there's some laptops from the 90s that are about this thick, and some even thicker. Infrared sensor. Wow. Didn't even notice that before. But yeah, this is a really chunky laptop. Not only that, the fans in the back are jet engines. Absolute jet engines. When these fans kick up, oh man, it's loud as hell. So, that's due to the Pentium 4 hyperthreading being running hotter than the sun. I believe this is a Prescott machine. Mobile Prescott. It does seem like a high-end. It is a high-end laptop for the time, though. Originally came with Windows XP and had a Pentium 4 hyperthreading processor in it. Trackpad. Track point with the cat's tongue texture, which I hate. Original Dell keyboard still, which has the best tactile feeling as opposed to the replacement ones from eBay. Has a matte screen, which I like to see. It was a powerhouse for the time. Look at these ports. It had tons of ports. Had support for a dongle, had DVI on it for a laptop. That's awesome. Had quite a bit of USB, had a modem, FireWire, PC card slot, and a DVD burner. So it was fully decked out for the time. But I think one of the biggest issues with this laptop is the battery. Now, I don't know why there's a speaker on the battery. I guess that's a battery alarm or a subwoofer or something. I have no clue why there's a speaker on the battery. That's weird. But these batteries are junk. As you can see, this one's been sitting in this laptop as a replacement, and it doesn't even take a charge anymore. Every battery he has put in this laptop has died very shortly after, and even when it was working, did not hold much of a charge, really. Looks like that's the connector for the speaker. I do not understand why there is a speaker in this battery. That is really weird. I don't know if that's an alarm or a subwoofer. Maybe somebody out there can tell me. But yeah, the batteries in the Dell XPS laptops were junk. Every single one of them. So he couldn't really use it as a laptop. He was stuck having it plugged in all the time. And speaking of plugged in, there's the power brick. This thing is a freaking brick. It looks like a Commodore 64 power supply. I mean, holy crap. 150 watts. This thing used a lot of power, this laptop. Yeah. This thing was meant to be a portable powerhouse. And the problem is, it really failed to deliver on the portable part. Not only because the Pentium 4 hyperthreading CPU, even in the mobile line, was a power-hungry, hot-running, thing. But it's chunky. The batteries didn't last. I think this was when Dell was using those really crappy Sanyo batteries that carried over for the next 5 years after this was made. Same problems happened with the Latitude series. I know the D630s had battery problems too. And that's why I shy away from Dell these days, because of battery problems. But I think they've probably figured that out since then. But yeah, this is my dad's old laptop. And there's a reason he's replacing it, because it's aging. I've kept this thing going for a while. I upgraded it to 2 gigs of RAM. I've upgraded it to Windows Vista and Windows 7 over the years. It ran Windows Vista Basic for a while. Because Vista Basic took up the least amount of space on an 80 gig drive, which this has. And now it has Windows 7 Home Premium 32-bit on it. So, He's been talking about an upgrade for, I think, a year or two now, and it finally happened. So let's take a look at the new one. Now, isn't that a beautiful sight? It's still metal, like the old one, only there's a lot more of the metal. It's nice and thin and light, too, which I really like. What is this, you may ask? It's a Latitude series. It's a Dell Latitude E5430, which I think is similar to the 6000 series, except that this is just missing a lot of the features that the higher end ones had. Like this one doesn't have the eraser head mouse or the track point. It just has a trackpad with some OK buttons. It does have a matte screen though, which is nice. It has a really nice keyboard. It's light, it's thin, it's exactly what he needs. He can actually put this in his lap. He kept begging me that that's what he wanted, because of course this laptop if you put that in your lap, you'd get tired in like a minute because it's so damn heavy. This one, not necessarily. Still has that same fan design as the other one with a little vent on the bottom. And the battery is nice and small. Nice tiny battery. And they even put the product key right under where the battery is, which is a smart move. It also has a dock connector, so you could put it you could use this with a docking station if you wanted, it being a Latitude. Now, let's show you around this laptop. There's a lot of things missing because this was a really, really cheap deal for Christmas, but it's really all that my dad's ever going to need anyway, so it's okay that it was this cheap and missing as many features as it has, or as it is. There's your CPU fan, HDMI, eSATA, or USB, SD card slot, and all this stuff. Has a PC card slot, which is nice to see on modern laptops, I think. Has an SD card slot with a dummy in it, a Dell dummy, so it's pretty nice. He'll probably never use those, so I'll just leave the dummies in there. Has what looks like a wireless switch on the front here. On the other side, you have a headphone jack, you have a USB port, a DVD-ROM drive, which is okay because he never burns anything. It's just a DVD-ROM drive. I don't think it even burns any discs. It's a really low-end Latitude, so it probably wasn't equipped with that. It has VGA, Ethernet, another USB, the blanking plate for where a modem could have gone. I'm surprised you could still buy a modem in these. That's kind of crazy. I guess people need that for faxing. And of course the power cord and the Kensington lock. So it's a nice laptop. I really like it. One thing that I really like about this laptop, and so does my dad, it's still running Windows 7. Yes. That is the reason we got this particular one, because it was a laptop that was really cheap in the Dell catalog with Windows 7 and a Core i3, which is more than enough for him, because all my dad does with a laptop is edit documents, look at investment portfolios, stocks, stuff that really doesn't require any real amount of power. I mean, he's been doing it on a Pentium 4. He's been doing it on a Pentium 4 for a long time, so this handles it much better than that Pentium 4 does. And we're going to take a look at it. So, let me plug it in. Before I plug it in, here's the power brick. It's nice and small, especially compared to this one. That's just ridiculously big. So, I'll plug this in and we'll show you the laptop as it came from the factory. I opened it and turned it on. We set up a user account and that's all we did. So, I'll show you how Dell outfitted this. I forget if we got this from the Dell outlet or from Dell outright. I think this was a brand new laptop that was old stock or something, or just cheap stock that they had on sale, something like that. But let's plug it in and check it out. All right, let's turn her on. Very quiet machine, like you can't even hear it, especially compared to this thing where you can hear it from across the room. There we go, starting Windows. I like where they've put the hard drive indicator LEDs, just sorted right next to the keyboard there. That's kind of slick. I like that. Come on, camera. There you go. Oh, that's right. I need a password. Hold on. Alright, I got a password. Wrong password. Oops. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Alright. There you go. Dell didn't really load this up with crapware like you'd usually find on laptops. I'm very surprised. I guess on the business line laptops they don't do that. Did come with McAfee though, so I'm going to get rid of that piece of junk. Trackpad feels very nice though. There you go. Came with Windows 7 Home Premium on a professional machine, which is strange, but whatever. Oh yeah, because my dad ordered it like that. Duh. Has a Core i3 3110M CPU. It's 2.4 gigahertz. Here's one thing. It came with 2 gigs of RAM, which is ridiculous. It came with 2 gigs of RAM and they installed 64-bit Windows. Well, they should install 64-bit Windows anyway, but it seems kind of stupid that they would do that. Let's check out what kind of hardware this thing has. Disk drives. Okay, it has a Hitachi drive in it, an HGST drive. I don't know how big it is. We'll find out in a minute. Uses Intel HD Graphics 4000, which is very nice. What else is in here? It uses Broadcom Gigabit Ethernet and a Dell wireless card. It's a Core i3, so it's a dual-core hyper-threaded. So you have 2 physical cores and 2 logical cores. Uses Intel display audio and IDT high definition audio codec. I don't know how good that is, but I guess it works. Intel Mobile Express chipset. Intel 7 series chipset, it looks like. Yeah. Pretty typical Intel hardware. This laptop would run Linux extremely well. I'd love one of these myself one day. Maybe I'll get one of these once they're a lot cheaper to replace my ThinkPad T61, because these are nice. Except I'm going to get one with a I would get one with a track point, because I love the track point. So there you have it. Oh yeah, let's see how big the drive is. It's probably a 500 or 750 or something. This thing, I need to upgrade the RAM in this thing. It's really dog slow right now. Well, not dog slow, but slower than it should be. Oh, it looks like it has a 300 gigabyte hard drive in it. I guess that's I guess they would call it a 320 gig drive. That's big enough for my dad though, because it's still an upgrade. This laptop had an 80 gig drive in it, and so going to 320 is still a good deal. So clearly, when you get a cheap Latitude, they take away a lot of more modern features. But the thing is, for my dad, he doesn't need much more anyway, so it's really not a big deal. He loves this so far, so that's good news. So the first thing we're going to do with this laptop is something that's very much needed. We are going to upgrade the RAM. I went on Amazon and found some cheap RAM. Not cheap as in low quality, but a stick of RAM that doesn't cost $70 like it does on Newegg. I found this 2 gig stick of Crucial for like $25 or something like that, and I'm gonna stick that in there. It has a 2 gig stick in it already. I'm gonna bring this up to 4 gigs of memory so that it's the minimum. So it's at its recommended minimum for a 64-bit operating system. That's all it really needs anyway. He's not going to do much with it. But if it has a 64-bit OS and it has a 64-bit CPU. Might as well give it 4 gigs of RAM, right? It doesn't need 8, it doesn't need 16. 4 is just fine for what he does. So, let's upgrade the RAM, shall we? Now, one thing that's nice about business machines is it's very easy to gain access to a lot of the parts. And with this Dell, it looks like it's going to be pretty darn easy. It's just one panel under here. So let's unscrew this. Get screws here. And we'll get to that panel. Alright. Yep, access to everything right there. How nice is that? You get access to the CPU right there, so this could be upgraded very easily. Looks like you get fan access right there. I have no clue what that is. That looks like a chipset. Or a Southbridge chip or something. There's the hard drive right there. There's the screw for the optical drive. There's a WWAN card connector right there. You could put Bluetooth card right there, I guess. And there's the wireless card right there. You have access to everything in this machine. That's absolutely wonderful. Bravo, Dell. Dell's improved their designs of their laptops over the years. I like the design of this one a lot. This is very easy to service. So, for my dad, this will be an absolute treat to do. Alright, let's get this stick of RAM out of here. See what it came with. Hey! Came with a 2 gig stick of Micron. Guess who makes Crucial's RAM? Micron, a lot of the time, makes Crucial's RAM. Because Crucial is part of Micron. So, it looks like I definitely chose the right brand of memory to go with. Alright, let's put that in there. Put that back in there. Alright. It appears that this memory has not been rebranded because it uses official Crucial memory chips on it. Check that out. Yeah, there you go. So, let's stick that in there. And, oops. Come here, RAM stick. There you go. Apparently, there we go. Lost my grip there a little bit. Oops. Might help if I put the RAM all the way there. There we go. Alright. Alright. RAM upgrade complete. Very easy to do. I really like the way that this is designed. It's just so easy to service. So these Latitudes are just fantastic, at least so far, from the service standpoint. So let me put this back together and we'll boot it up and see if there's a difference with that added memory. Before I put the battery back in, I just thought I might make note it's a 60 watt-hour battery. Battery cell made in Japan, final assembly in China. Well, at least it's a Japanese battery. Alright, let's power this machine on. Alright, let's get into the BIOS here. BIOS. This probably uses EFI. Alright, good. The mouse system memory has been changed. Go to the setup. There we go. Let's check out the BIOS. There's a pretty the new BIOSes in Dells are pretty fancy, as I found out. Alright, that's what we want. 4 gigs of RAM. Both are in dual channel and both are 1600 megahertz. Excellent. There's our processor information if you guys were curious. 3 megs of cache. Yeah. So let's exit. Boot the machine. There it goes. Let's see how much of a difference it makes. Alright. see if boot time's any different. I don't think it will be, but... Still, though, having memory and dual channel is just good for performance by itself, so I wanted to do that straight away. Eventually, I'll probably upgrade this to 8 gigs of RAM once programs start to really utilize a ton of RAM. At least the ones that he uses, anyway. So let's go into computer here. Alright, there we go. 4 gigs of RAM. Excellent. Now this Latitude is up to my standards. Has a pretty slow hard drive, it seems, but other than that, it's a good machine. I love how serviceable that is. That is an excellent, excellent design that Dell has on these Latitudes. Just take one panel off and you have access to everything. That is absolutely fantastic. I wish the same could be said for my ThinkPad, for which you have to take the keyboard off and do all this crap to get access to everything. But on these Dells, it's really, really easy for service technicians. I like it. I like it a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up everything from this laptop and install everything on here. I'm going to try to get his bookmarks back and all that stuff. So that should be an easy process, just to back up and put everything on here. I'm even going to make his shortcuts exactly the same as they were on there, on here. So it's a bit of a tedious process, but you know what? It'll make my dad happy. This is sort of his present to himself. So I'm going to do that. I just figured I'd show you guys this Latitude because it's a nice one. It's a Latitude E5430. I don't know what model this is. I guess it's a 2012 or 2013 model. We are in good hands here. So I'm going to shut this down, move it over to my desk, and start work on it. I like these Dell Latitudes. These new Latitudes are really nice. Dell's definitely doing a good job with these. It's definitely worth, when you buy a laptop, getting a business series laptop if you don't require graphics power, because they're just so much nicer than the consumer ones, at least as far as Dell goes. My experience with my Asus laptop, which is a consumer grade, is actually really good so far. So it really depends who you buy from when it comes to consumer, but from business line, you can buy from anybody, and it's nice for the most part, including Dell, because this Dell is very nice. So that's my dad's laptop. It's a good upgrade, I think. I think we chose a very good one for him. I think he'll be very happy with this for many years. So there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed a quick look at this laptop. And, well, quick. It's not really that quick, is it? Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good one, everybody. Ciao.